So I think sometimes it's better to stop thinking. Don't overthink so much, because you can get in your head and, the self-doubt creeps in, and it can prevent you from doing things that you really want to do. So just act.
Hello, everyone. I am Melissa Forziat of Take the Doughnut, here to help you get inspiration and get donuts. I'm a motivational keynote speaker, and today I'm bringing you a Take the Doughnut interview with Lopez, Big Brother 25 Houseguest, and Fellow Brown University Alum. America, welcome. I'm so happy to have you here.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
Oh, so I, just said a little bit about you up front, but tell us more about yourself. What do you want us to know?
I mean, I guess my background is very important for me, and it was very important in the game too. I am Latina. My parents are first gen, or I am first gen American, first gen student. And yeah, I grew up in South Texas. And then I moved to Brown when I was 18. I did my undergrad there. And then I, moved to New York during COVID. And then I got on Big Brother. So, and now I'm in Nashville. So I've just been like hopping all around. I'm a professional mover at this point, but it's, I'm doing well.
Oh my goodness. This feels like exactly the right time to have this conversation with you. We're having a Take the Doughnut interview. I'm sure there are people listening to this who aren't familiar with that. But before we get into it, I'll just ask the obligatory question to start. Like, what's your favorite donut?
I'm a fan of the classics. I'm pretty basic. I love a glazed donut. That's my fave, my go-to. Anything else, I just feel like it's too much. I just like a basic regular glazed.
I like it. I like it. Keeping it simple, keeping it glazed.
Yep.
So what is the Take the Doughnut interview all about? We're not going to be talking about actual donuts the entire time. For me, Take the Doughnut is an expression that is basically the same as Carpe Diem. It started with a thing that actually happened at Brown, where I left a donut on the table, and it became an object lesson for me and what it looks like when you leave an opportunity on the table. I don't want to do that anymore, so I say take the donut to myself. I'll link a video here so you can all hear that story. But basically, this conversation is all about, practically speaking, what it looks like to go after opportunity in your life, what that looks like, what it entails. So the first question on that is, how are you with going after opportunity? What is that process like for you?
So I used to be so bad about this, right? I'm a huge overthinker and I overcomplicate things. And just like your donut story, I'm like, oh, that donut's not for me. Maybe it's for someone else. I should skip on this. And I've learned like very recently that that's not the case. I just have to go after things that I want, and I am worthy and capable of accomplishing like anything that I set my mind to. And that statement like used to sound so corny and cheesy to me, but I had literally I've watched Big Brother. Let's talk about Big Brother. I've watched Big Brother since I was a little kid, and I've always wanted to be on the show. And you're able to apply from the age of 21. And I had never applied before because I'd get into my head and I'd be like, I'm not going to make it. They're not going to like me anyway. Why would I try out? And I procrastinate and then start overthinking, like I said, and I wouldn't apply. And then this year, I just had, there was an open casting call in Connecticut. I was in New York, and my friend texted me. He's like, hey, there's a casting call tomorrow in Connecticut. You should go. Like, we're going to go try out. This is like your dream. And I was like, no, I have work. How am I going to get out of work? They need me, this, that. I had so many excuses for it. And then in the last second, I was like, snap out of this. You've been saying this for years. And this has happened in so many occasions outside of Big Brother. It's just been like other opportunities that have come and gone. I'm not going to let this happen again. And this is the first time that they had been doing casting calls in a while because of COVID. So I was like, let's do it. I called out of work. They were fine. They survived at work without me, and I went to the casting call, and I got a call a couple of days later that I had moved on in the interview process. And then I, was on the show. I was there. So I think it's important for me to, from that experience, I've learned like I can do anything. I just have to take advantage of those opportunities.
It sounds like also with that particular experience, you created so much momentum so quickly. It's
That's
wild.
Yeah, that's what it feels like. From now, I'm like, I'm unstoppable. Like I can do anything. And it's, just being on reality TV. But for me, it was so much more than that. It like, sort of symbolized like I was looking at the bigger picture after that. Like, wait, I can make this move. If I want to move to Nashville after the show, why not? And this wasn't a thought that I had while I was in the show, in the house. I came out mid-November, and I was like, oh, well, I am in a relationship with Corey now. I was like, he's in Nashville. I want to be in Nashville. What's stopping me? And I got an apartment, and I had never been to Nashville before. I don't know anything really about the city, but it looked wonderful on Google Maps. I walked around a bit, and now I'm here, and I the world is my oyster, is what it feels like.
So I want to ask the question, what keeps you motivated? But it's almost, I feel like it's all different stuff that's happening. So like now that you're shifting to perhaps a bigger picture than you had, half a year ago, what is keeping you going? How are you looking at all of this now?
I think I'm a lot more maybe positive than I was before. And I have, my parents and my family and my friends behind me that they're like, wow, you accomplished this. This was your dream. You made it happen. Now, anything else that you set your mind to, you can do. So I think that's how my mindset has like shifted a little bit. And it really is like my family and my friends that are behind me that keep me like going and keep me motivated. And now I kind of have an audience, which I wasn't used to like ever. I went into the show and I had like 100 followers, and I'm a huge Twitter girly, and I would tweet out into the void. And now, there's people that like enjoyed watching the show and enjoyed watching me. And it's like so surreal and so insane. Because I never thought about what would come after the show. I was just so focused on like playing the game and getting in the house that I didn't expect this at all. But it's been amazing. Everyone's been great.
Ah, what a wonderful story. And it's still being written is the cool part. It is for all of us, but it's like obviously happening for you. So
Yeah.
it's funny to watch it, and probably a whirlwind to live it. In terms of challenges, so, as you go after things that you want, maybe there's a certain brand of challenge that just keeps coming up for you no matter what you're encountering. So is there something like that for you that always seems to be your Achilles heel?
I feel like I've struggled with like self-confidence before. And I mean, going to Brown, I just like had, like imposter syndrome was like, through the roof at Brown. I come from like a low income family, and growing up poor and then transitioning like to Brown was just like, just a snap. And I'm like with all these rich kids and this like very elite, obviously like Ivy League university. I felt sort of like out of place there. And I feel like I've struggled not only like at Brown with that, but like even in the Big Brother house, I was like, I am not supposed to be here. And I think that's something that I'm trying to work on. It's a process, but I think that's definitely what, yeah, it hinders me a little bit sometimes when taking that donut and taking that leap.
I relate. I really do. I think that's why it's important to have conversations like this, because opportunity and life and setbacks and everything, it feels a certain way to all of us, and it's a common thing. And to talk about it is important. I think we're so often just putting out the best picture of everything, but it feels like something when you're going through it. So this might be a very obvious answer, but I'll ask it anyway. What's the biggest donut you've ever taken?
Honestly, everything. It was, yeah, it was Big Brother. It was huge. It's been my dream forever. And I was like, now after going through all of it, I was like, why didn't I apply sooner? And I'm a big believer that everything happens for a reason. And timing is very important. And I feel like I wouldn't have been able to do Big Brother at 21. It is so hard. It was just torture. It was my dream. And I woke up every day and I was so grateful to be in the house, but also I was like, I hate it here. Like, it's just so, I like emotionally, physically draining, but that's the biggest donut that I've taken. And I'm so glad. I cannot believe it. I'm like here in my apartment on my floor because I don't have any furniture, and it's still like a dream. I am so grateful to all my family and my friend specifically that pushed me to go to that casting call, because things would be so different if I hadn't. I wouldn't be here, and it's been amazing.
That's awesome. I mean, if we took Big Brother out of the equation, like, is there a second biggest donut that comes to your mind? Maybe it's something that's happening recently, or maybe it's something like from back further in your life. Does anything come to mind for you?
Yeah, I feel like moving to New York was also like a big leap that I took. I moved in 2020. I had gotten furloughed from my job. I was working at a physical therapy clinic in Providence after I graduated, and I got furloughed there, right, for COVID, because of COVID. And I was like, you know what? I want to move to New York. Like, I think it's time to make a change. I've been in Providence for 5 years. I want to move to a big city. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to make it happen. And I moved. I didn't have a job. I didn't really have any friends. I had like one or two friends that were living in New York. And I decided to just like find an apartment, make that move. And I was there in New York for 3 years. I loved it so much. It was so amazing. I cannot wait to go back, and the goal is to go back and live in New York eventually, because it's I love the energy of the city. But yeah, I think that would be, I could have been complacent and just stayed in Providence where I felt comfortable. And I decided to, do the opposite, maybe put myself in an awkward, uncomfortable situation where I was in a new city, new scenery with no friends, no job. It was tough, but I made it happen and I made it work.
You definitely learn how resilient you are when you put yourself in and I think that contributes to you feeling now like you can do anything, right? Because you've done anything so far and you've landed on your feet every time. So it's fun to see that building.
Yeah. It's like, you know what? Things always work out one way or another. Things are going to be okay. So why be fearful of things, and why have that fear like hold me back? It doesn't make sense to me anymore.
Yeah. So is there a donut currently in progress for you? Is there something you're taking or want to take? Maybe you put it out there now. I don't know.
What's my donut? Let's see. I want to travel. I've never really traveled before. That's my donut. I've always like put it off, for some reason or another. I'm like, I can't. So I just like take this time that I have to myself right now, because I don't currently have a job, but maybe use that time to travel and explore and see the world, which is something that I really haven't done before, ever.
Is there a place on your list or that comes up in your brain when you think about traveling?
Yeah, I want to have my eat, pray, love moment. So let's do Italy, India. I think she goes to Bali at the end of the book, but yeah, it just all over. I don't know. But I really want to go to Italy though. I love Italian food, so I'd love to have the most authentic Italian food there is.
Oh, that sounds amazing. That sounds amazing. Well, there may be some people listening to this who have a donut they want to take and they're not really sure what to do next. So let's sprinkle some encouragement. And, what would you say to those people who have something in mind, or maybe they've even just started it, but they don't know where to go from here?
I think it's just keep going. You are worthy. Like I said, you are worthy. You're capable. You're deserving of everything and anything that you want. And you can do anything that you set your mind to. I think it's really, that's real. That's a very real thing. And I got this. Okay, let me talk about this. I got this fortune cookie a few years ago, and I had it on my vanity. And I think about it all the time. It's so simple, but it really, I thought about it when I was like going to audition and when I'm making moves. It's a don't think, just act. So I think sometimes it's better to stop thinking. Don't overthink so much, because you can get in your head and, you know, the self-doubt creeps in, and it can prevent you from doing things that you really want to do. So just act. Just act on your emotions, on your gut, and go for what feels right and what you want.
Oh, that's beautiful. And it really ties into instinct too. Like, if this is where you feel like you should be going, go there.
Yes,
Stop
exactly.
overthinking it.
Don't.
I love it. I love it. Well, where can we find you if people want to follow what you're up to or hear more about what you're doing? Give me some links to put in the description.
Of course. So I've tried to be more active on social media. So I'm adog956 on Twitter, adog956 on Instagram, and Frail King Lover on TikTok.
Okay.
So there, you know, I'm trying to be more consistent with posting. I'm just not used to it, but yeah, you can find me there.
Awesome. So everybody go check out those resources, see what America has to say and what she's up to. I'm sure it's going to be a really interesting journey from here. And if you liked this video, be sure to like and subscribe, because we have so many inspirational interviews still to come. And in the meantime, America, thank you so much for just spending a little time and talking about taking the donut and opportunity and what that looks like.
Thank you so much for having me, Melissa. I really appreciate it. And thank you, everybody watching.
Okay, everybody, you know what to do. Get inspiration, get donuts. Bye.